Whatever country road you're on, make sure it leads to your home for real American music. Real Roots Radio.
Well, hello, everybody. We have a special guest. He is a Marine veteran, a writer, and a coffee house owner in Danville, Kentucky. We have Eric Great with us. Are you there, Eric?
I'm here.
Hey, it's great to have you. Hey, Eric has written a book, The Notorious Adams Boys of Greenfield, Ohio. We're excited about this, Eric.
Well, I'll tell you, so am I. It's been a long time coming, and I'm excited to finally be able to get it out there to folks.
Yeah, we're excited to get a copy of it and get to meet you. What got you to write a book about the Notorious Adams Boys?
Well, I'll tell you, I'd written 2 books before, but they were both fiction. I'd never written a nonfiction book in my life, okay? And one day last February, I got a message from Don Adams, who, I already knew, Don and I knew one another, but I got a message from Don saying, Eric, call me at this number. And I called him at that number, and Don answered the phone like he didn't say hello or anything like that. He just simply said, Eric, we need to write a book.
That's Don.
Like, okay. I said, well, okay. I said, how are you, Don? And he said, we need to write a book. He just doubled down on it and got right to it. And so the long story short is Don just kind of called me up and let me know that we needed to do this. And I asked for a day to think about it, but I'd already knew that I was going to do it. And I called him back the next day, and I said, hey, let's get it done. And, I told Don it would be about a 2-year project to get it done. And as you know, and maybe a lot of your listeners know, Don was battling cancer at the time. And he kind of asked me, I guess not directly, but indirectly, if I could, maybe write it a little faster. And so we're coming in at about 14 months as opposed to the 2 years I had originally set aside for the book. But so, unfortunately, Don passed in February, and, I wasn't able to get it done in time, for him to see it. But, I got to feel that somehow he knows what's going on, and he'll be proud of the book.
Hey, Eric, this is Richard Lynch. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing good. How are you, Richard?
Real good. Hey, I want to just kind of mention to the folks that's listening in right now, we're talking about the Notorious Adams Boys who played with Johnny Paycheck and George Jones, and they are members of the Ohio Country Music Hall of Fame, and you took it upon yourself to take this project on, and we are so grateful that you do, because those guys are so deserving to have this book wrote about them. And if you love real country music and how they have contributed so much to our brand of country music, man, your book is so it's a must-have. That's all I can say.
Well, yeah, they're local legends, but at the same time, they're known far and wide, across the country. There's folks that know the Adams Boys and, remember them, and, they're just very well respected and as musicians, and, on the flip side of that, they absolutely could not behave themselves at times, and that's why they're called notorious. And we're going to see both sides of it in the book.
That's great. Don, Gary, and Arnie were the Adams Boys, the notorious ones. I saw something you posted on your Facebook page that they played with George Jones for a while, but then they were let go from the band because they were a bad influence on George Jones.
Yeah.
And that's
imagine that.
Yeah. We got to meet all of them too, and we got to have conversations with Don and Arnie both, and the stories they could tell. I'm sure you spent some time with them and heard some of this stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never got to meet Arnie.
Oh.
But by the time, we got to going on the book, Arnie had passed, and I never got the opportunity to meet him. I had met Gary in passing a few times, mainly at shows he had done, over the years around, around Greenfield, around the whole area. And, of course, Don, I knew Don, from back when I was in high school. I used to date his daughter, Candy, in high school.
Oh.
So I met Don then. So it was a little different relationship back then, though, when I was coming to his house to, see his daughter. It was, he treated me a little different then. Yeah.
Well, so
I got the impression he didn't care for me.
So you're a Greenfield native yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, I was born and raised in Greenfield and lived there for the first 35 years of my life. So I grew up hearing about the Adams Boys and about Johnny Paycheck and, the whole music scene there in Greenfield.
Nice. It's a heck of a scene from Greenfield, all that talent coming out of there.
It is. It's pretty remarkable for a town that's, around 5,000 people that, so much talent's come out of there. And, of course, I think Johnny Paycheck was the catalyst for that. When he started to hit, I think it just put a spark in some of the more talented folks in Greenfield, and they took off after their own dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, Johnny was something else. Donnie Lytle was his name growing up, right? From Greenfield.
That's right, Donald Eugene Lytle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Eric, where can our folks listening get a copy of your book, The Notorious Adams Boys?
Well, the book launches here in just a few days on April 30th. The book will launch, and it will be available on Amazon, and it will be available in select bookstores, hopefully across the country. I've communicated with bookstores all around, and I have some book signings scheduled, and I expect those bookstores to pick the book up, and amongst others that will later on. But primarily, at first, you'll be able to get it on Amazon.
That sounds good. And we're going to have you at the Keeping It Country Farm June 27th during the French Family Band Show to do a book signing.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. It will be, well, my screen just fell down here. I was looking at my calendar, and my screen took off on me, so I'm going to have to get it pulled back up. But, yeah, I believe you said June 27th. We'll be there 6 to 9, I think. Is it?
Yep, sounds great.
They're in Waynesville, yeah.
In Waynesville, Ohio. Keeping It Country Farm. We look forward to it. I also see that you had a foreword in the book written by Ralph May. Don Adams
Absolutely.
had nominated Ralph May to be in the Ohio Country Hall of Fame. Don was a big promoter of our Hall of Fame, and Ralph was a great inductee.
Yeah, Ralph is just, he's a great guy, talented man, and he is a storyteller. Ralph's ability to tell a story is just unbelievable. And, I spent a lot of time with Ralph, interviewed him several times. And, I mean, my stomach hurt after talking to Ralph. He would have me laughing so much. Just the way he could tell some of the antics of the Adams Boys and, some of them that he was involved in himself. It was just unbelievably funny and informative. Yeah, I'm a big Ralph May fan.
He's a great guy.
Well, I tell you, we sure appreciate you calling in and taking the time to share this wonderful news. We're going to play a Johnny Paycheck tune that the Adams Boys was recording with them back in the early days. And looking forward to, after the song goes, we're going to chime in with our Ohio Country Music Hall of Fame, Jackie Thomas, and we'll be talking back and forth and different things about all the activities and promoting the devil out of your Notorious Adams Boys, and so everybody can get a copy of it. That's for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, let everyone know. I think anyone that reads the book's going to be very happy with it.
And don't forget, you'll be joining us live at the Keeping It Country Farm, and that would be in June 27th, I do believe Donna said. And you're going to be signing and talking and shaking and howdying at all the folks and let people get a copy of that Notorious Adams Boys, who I know a lot of folks are interested in that, and myself included.
Well,
absolutely. Yep, I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds great, Eric. Well, thanks.
Whatever country road you're on, make sure it leads to your home for real American music. Real Roots Radio.
Hey, everybody. We are sure blessed to have a good guest with us here today. The one, the only, the director of the Ohio Country Music Hall of Fame. Hello, Jackie Thomas.
Well, hello, Richard, and hello, Miss Donna. It's always great to be here on Real Roots Radio to talk about the Ohio Country Music Hall of Fame.
Well, wasn't it great to have Eric on? He did such a good job talking about his tribute book to the Adams Boys. Man, those guys so deserving to have a book wrote about them.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I think back to the time when the Adams Boys were nominated, and the first time I reached out to Don Adams, and he called me back. And we sat there on the phone for about 45 minutes, and I just listened, and the hair on my arm stood up the whole time, chill bumps. Just amazing, amazing, amazing people who are absolutely a part of the history of traditional country music.
Absolutely. And speaking of traditional country music, a little rumor has it that the directors, Jackie and Betty Thomas, got to be at the Grand Ole Opry here recently. Kind of tell the folks that's listening how that experience went there at the Grand Ole Opry.
Well, thank you, and that's exactly right. And we'll cover this in a minute as well, but we have an induction in June of a gentleman, and he invited Betty and I to the Opry, and we were there on Tuesday, April 14th, I believe. And it's always a tremendous time, you know that. And we got to be backstage with this particular artist and meet and work and greet with all the others. And then we had some very nice seats out in the audience to enjoy the show. But it's always a true honor to be there and to be with the organization that truly has made country music what it is.
And they introduced you from the stage of the Grand Ole Opry as the commissioner and the director of the Ohio Country. Ladies and gentlemen, here at the Grand Ole Opry, Jackie and Betty Thomas. That had to be a good feeling.
It was a tremendous feeling, Richard. I can't deny that. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, you're doing Ohio and our country music fans well. We're sure proud to be associated with you. Tell us about who's coming on the first induction for the Keeping It Country Farm for the Ohio Country Music Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. We have several already lined up this year. On May the 30th, we will be inducting Wayne Hobbs posthumously. Wayne was a tremendous pedal steel guitar player, influenced many and was influenced by many, including his own father, Red. Just a tremendous entertainer. He worked with Marty Robbins, Connie Smith, the Forrester Sisters, the Killer, Jerry Lee Lewis, on and on and on. But he will be honored on May the 30th, and we look forward to folks coming out for that event. Then on June 27th, we have Jimmy Nichols, another fantastic musician and artist. Jimmy was nominated by actually two people. Edgell Grove nominated Jimmy, as did Frank Myers. And if you recall, Frank was inducted last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then on June 27th as well, we have Larry Paxton, who invited us to the Opry. Larry Paxton was nominated by Frank Myers. Larry is the bass player in the Opry band. He's been there 20 years. But he's also a #1 session player in Nashville, has been for decades, written scores for movies and on and on and on. But that'll be June 27th. And then in the fall, we don't have a date yet. It looks like we've worked out a plan with Marty Rowe of Diamond Rio to get Marty in the Hall of Fame. So it's an exciting year. It just keeps going.
Absolutely. And all those names you just mentioned are so deserving. They all came from the great state of Ohio, and each and every one of them are so deserving to be recognized and put into the country music, the Ohio Country Music Hall of Fame.
Oh, Richard, absolutely. You know, and I've said this every time y'all have had me as a guest. It's amazing the talent from this state, and I can't overstate that. The influence the people from Ohio have had on Music City, USA, can't be measured. It's just incredible.
Folks, we are talking to Mr. Jackie Thomas here from the Ohio Country Music Hall of Fame, inviting each and every one of you and all your friends to make sure you get out and check out some of the inductions this year. We have 7 wonderful shows at the Keeping It Country Farm, and I do believe 3 or 4 of them will be inducted, folks, for the Ohio Country Music Hall of Fame. It's going to be a great season. Jackie and your better half, Miss Betty, thank you guys for joining us and driving all the way up here and enlightening our listeners about the Ohio Country Music Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Miss Donna. It's tremendous to be here.